Hey, let's tell them about our happy mistake from our honeymoon.
Oh, that was the greatest thing ever. Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome to another episode of Our Haunted Travels with your hosts, Sean and Marianne Dawn.
Well, hello, Parapeeps, and welcome to another episode of Our Haunted Travels. I am your host, Sean Donnelly.
And I'm your co-host, Marianne Donnelly.
That's right. Tonight we are talking about Ocracoke Island, right on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you've been there before, leave a comment down in the comment section. We would love to hear that, because I would tell you what, this was one of our best mistakes from our honeymoon, getting stuck on that island.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so awesome there.
Yeah, so this is Panic D number 1863, Ocracoke Island. We have the whole island in there as a record. So, yeah, of course it's open to the public. It's an island. But there are so many different ghost stories and paranormal claims about this location. And hopefully you've been following along this week, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But before we get started, we got a quick little video for you to tell you about the history of Ocracoke Island. So we'll be right back.
Ocracoke Island is an island tucked away on the North Carolina Outer Banks on the southern tip of Hatteras Island. It is a total area of 9.6 square miles. The average height of the island is less than 5 feet above sea level. And in 2010, with the census, the population was a whopping 948. The island, however, does have over 80 family cemeteries. Reportedly, there are more dead on the island than there are living. It's accessible by ferry, by boat, and even has a small private airplane strip. The island has white sandy beaches with clean, clear blue water, making it perfect for a spot to throw out a fishing line or just dig your feet in the sand and read. A stroll from one end of the village to the other will take you a maximum of 30 minutes. And on the island, bicycles are actually the most ideal mode of transportation. The earliest record of the island is on a map that was made in 1585 by an English explorer named John White. He identifies the area as Wococken. Subsequent spellings include Wococoke, Ocracoke, Ocracoke. The name was from the Wokon tribe of Native Americans who lived on the mainland and established fishing and hunting outposts on the island. Today, it's officially named Ocracoke. An early Italian explorer, Giovanni de Verrazzano, happened upon this island all the way back in 1524. Many colonists lamented the hazards of the changing shoals of the Ocracoke Inlet, and the first residents used to guide boats over the shallow bar. But in 1585, Sir Walter Raleigh, his ship the Tiger, was just one of those ships that could have used their help as they were in search of Roanoke Island, because the ship collided with a sandbar in Ocracoke Inlet, and he was forced to land on the island for repairs. However, with the island being so remote, Ocracoke Island was not permanently settled until 1750. The isolated inlet was also prone to smuggling. It was a favorite anchorage of Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard the Pirate. He was caught and beheaded on Ocracoke in November of 1718, and his ship hid in the waters behind the island and eventually sunk. After the pirate's death, people were more willing to settle there, and by the time of the first census in 1790, it was reported that there were 135 white men, 2 free persons of color and 31 slaves who lived on Ocracoke in North Carolina. There were 23 households at the time and 9 family names, most of which remain prominent even today on the island. Those names for the families were Bragg, Garish, Gaskins, Howard, Jackson, Neal, which was amended in the 1800 census to O'Neill, Salter, Scarborough, and Williams. The island is also home to a huge British cemetery. During World War II, German submarines sank several British ships, including the HMT Bedfordshire, and the bodies of the British sailors were washed ashore. They were buried in a cemetery on the island in a 2,290 square foot plot, where a British flag flies at all times. A National Park Service seashore was established here in 1953 and included everything except for the 775 acres of village on the northwest side of the island. Until 1956, all telephone calls had to be made or received at the Coast Guard station. In 1957, North Carolina bought a 4-car ferry that Mr. Fraser Peel ran between Ocracoke and Hatteras, and in the early 1960s, the state purchased the vessel Sea Level, which traveled the Cedar Island route. In 1977, a water system provided an alternative to cisterns and hand pumps, and now tourism dominates the economy there, and each year the number of visitors increases. One of the most interesting things about the island, though, is that with the many shipwrecks around the island, many of their houses are built with wood that was salvaged from shipwrecks.
So some pretty interesting stuff on how the island came about.
Absolutely.
And it's very intriguing that there's more dead than alive.
One of the things I like most is the fact that, you know, their houses are like all made from the shipwrecked wood that they just kind of found. You know, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, like I said earlier, we visited this island before we got into the paranormal.
Yes, we did.
Boy, if we would have knew back then what we know now, we would have been there longer than overnight.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have had it as an accident.
Yeah. So you want to explain to him why he said, you know, our experiences, why it was an accident? You want to explain it?
Sure. So we basically were going on our honeymoon, and we went on, as we've mentioned before, a road trip. It was like 18 days, and one of the things that we were doing was we were going visiting lighthouses. So we had a plan to go and see the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, and so we went there. And we had to get from there back down south further. So we went ahead and went on the ferry.
Yeah. This was pre-Google mapping days.
Yes, it was.
I thought when I planned it out that we could make it from Cape Hatteras to Myrtle Beach all in the same day. Just by just taking that ferry and hitting Ocracoke. Spend a little time on Ocracoke. Just kind of check it out and keep on going. Yeah. We missed the ferry.
Yeah. We were sitting there for
the ferry
a while
from Ocracoke out,
on the ferry spot from Hatteras to Ocracoke.
Yeah.
And so because we had waited so long there,
we missed the ferry from
on
Ocracoke
the other side to Cedar.
So here we are stuck on Ocracoke Island.
This tiny little island.
No hotel room. 9.6 square miles.
The new Mrs. Donnelly's freaking out.
Donnelly. Yeah, we were about ready to sleep in the car that night, but we did find a room.
We did.
I tell you what, it was gorgeous.
It was.
So in the history, you saw some of those pictures. Those pictures were off our balcony.
Yeah.
It was the best mistake we had. I wish we had more time there.
Yeah.
You know. So we've been trying to figure out how to get back there because you really only get to it by ferry,
right?
You know? So
I mean, you can get to it by plane too. They have a tiny little airstrip, but not the kind of planes that you like to go on.
We did talk about going back on our 10th anniversary, but we ended up doing a cruise instead. So maybe our 15th.
Maybe.
see, that'd be kind of cool, especially knowing that the ghost stuff that's there. Oh man! So you might see Ocracoke come back out again at a later date. Our return to Ocracoke. So, like I said, we've been covering Ocracoke Island all week. So, for some of the ghost stories and folklore, I'll put a link right here. Ding! And then we also did a video about Blackbeard the Pirate, which this was his favorite island, too.
It was.
Yeah. So, I'll put a link to that right here, too. Ding! And you can go check that out, The Ghost of Blackbeard. It's been spotted on it. So, why do you think that the island is so haunted? What's your theory?
Well, there's a whole bunch of reasons why the island could be haunted. First and foremost, it's an island, which means it's surrounded by water.
Yeah, moving water.
Moving water, yeah. So that's a big trigger to start. On top of that, look at how many shipwrecks there have been right around the island. Not to mention, again, that their homes are made of the shipwrecked wood.
Yeah.
So a lot of people probably perished on those ships, and then they're bringing all that wood back ashore.
A lot of traumatic experiences.
A lot of traumatic experiences. And then, of course, you've got all the pirate stuff, and they were probably, again, having some clashes and things like that. So it's just a lot of things.
A lot of things probably happened in that tiny little congested area. Then you got the water stirring things up, feeding the fuel, and yeah, it's not one of those places that's like, why is it not haunted?
Why wouldn't it be?
Why wouldn't it be? Yeah. All right. Hey, do you have anything else you'd like to add to this video?
Just that, when I was doing the research for this and found some of the people who had been there and things, it was like a return to my childhood and my history class because, you see Sir Walter Raleigh and you see these people you learn about.
Theodosia Burr, the daughter of Anne
you
Burr.
learn about these people in your history class and you're like, wow, they were all like here.
That tiny little island.
Yeah, that was amazing.
All right, folks. Hey, until next time.
Thanks for watching.
And happy hunting.
Let us know if you like this video by hitting that thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to see more videos from us in the future, support our channel by hitting that subscribe button and dinging that bell so you get notified the next time there's a video from Panic D Videos.
Thanks for watching.
Happy hunting.